Hello everyone. As in the previous videos, we are done with the unit number 2, that is money and banking. Now we are going to start with unit number 4, which is government budget and the economy, and its weightage is of 6 marks in your board examinations. And this is very much important concept if we see through the weightage of this chapter. Now this chapter we will start with its concept, that is the government budget and the economy. Firstly, you must know that what is government budget. Government budget is defined as a statement of the estimates of the government's expected receipts and expenditure during the financial year or fiscal year. Now what this definition says is that it is a statement of estimates of government's expected receipts and expenditure, which means that this statement shows that what government is expecting as their receipts or revenues, you can say, and the expenditure. Now what are the receipts? Receipts are the money, or you can say the sources of funds, and expenditure is that where we will spend our money either on the various activities or the programs and policies. And in this chapter we will think from the viewpoint of the government, that how government estimates its receipts and expenditure. Now before starting with the detailed study of this concept, I would like to relate this government budget with the household budget. Like every month you must have heard your parents saying that this month we will spend this much money on the household consumption expenditure. Like we used to say, जैसे हमारी जितनी इनकम आएगी उस इनकम पे डिपेंड करता है कि हमने पर मंथ कितना स्पेंड करना है या फिर कितना एक्सपेंडिचर करना ऑन द परचेज ऑफ वेरियस कमोडिटीज़. तो हमारे पेरेंट्स क्या करते हैं, एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ द मंथ दे मेक अ बजट. अब उस बजट में क्या होगा, दैट इतना हमारा इनकम सोर्स है या फिर इतनी मेरी सैलरी है या फिर इतनी मेरे को इनकम रिसीव होगी, एंड उस इनकम के बेसिस पे आई विल डिसाइड दैट हाउ मच आई हैव टू स्पेंड and on what type of commodities I need to spend. That is, that kind of calculations shows our budget, जो हमारे estimates बताते हैं कि in the coming month, or you can say some used to make the budget annually also. So what they will think about, they will think that हमारी earnings कितनी है, on the basis of that what will be our expenditure. Similarly, if we talk about the government budget, इसमें हम बात करेंगे from the viewpoint of the government, that how government makes budget, and this budget is a kind of statement in which various kinds of expected receipts and expenditures of the government are recorded during the financial year. Now you must know what is a financial year. In our country, the financial year is taken as from 1st April to 31st March. Like if I talk about 2018, अब जो गवर्नमेंट बजट बना होगा 2018 के लिए, दैट मस्ट बी मेड ऑन 1st ऑफ February. दैट इज़ February में वो बजट बनेगा. और किस टाइम पीरियड के लिए बनेगा, दैट इज़ फ्रॉम 1st April 2018 to 31st March 2019. दिस इज़ द फाइनेंशियल ईयर फॉर विच द गवर्नमेंट बजट इज़ prepared. And why this government budget is prepared? Mainly in India, Article 112 of the Constitution requires the central government to prepare annual financial statement, which means जो हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में ये आर्टिकल है, आर्टिकल नंबर 112, उसमें लिखा है कि जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट है हमारी, उसको एनुअली अपनी एक फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट तैयार करनी है, जिसमें वो क्या रिकॉर्ड करेंगे, बजट ऑफ द central government, or you can say the estimates of the receipts and expenditures of the government. Similarly, according to Article 202 of the Constitution, it requires that every state government to prepare annual financial statement. अब एक होता है budget of the central government जो सारी इंडिया के लिए होता है, and another one is the budget of the state government which is prepared by the government of the respective states. And the budget of central government is required to be prepared under the Article 112 of the Constitution, and budget of the state government is required to be prepared under the Article 202 of the Constitution. This is important question from the viewpoint of your objective type questions. Now next comes that how this budget is presented, or when this budget is presented. You must have heard about the news that in February the news channel gives the headlines like the budget has been introduced, the government has decided to spend this much on the public expenditure, or you can say the government has made this policy and program and they have allotted this much fund for this program and policy. What is all that? You must be wondering about that what is this kind of economic news. So from this chapter you will come to know about the deep concepts, or you can say the main terms which are related to the budget of the government. Now on February 1st, Finance Minister presents annual budget of the government for its approval by the Parliament. Now what is the date? That is on February 1st. जो हमारे फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर हैं, who is the present finance minister, that is श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमण. She presented the annual budget of the government for its approval by the Parliament. I am talking about the recent year, that is 2020. On 1st of February, the finance minister presented the annual budget of the government. And if we talk about every year, normally whoever is the prime minister, they used to present the annual budget of the government on February 1st. अब ये किसको present करना है? It will be presented to the Parliament. अब Parliament में कौन आता है? The houses of the Parliament, that is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Along with that, the cabinet ministers also play a great role in this government budget. Now this budget shows the financial performance of the government over past 1 year. That is, अब आप ये सोच रहे हो that I said that ये expected receipts और expenditure हैं for the coming year, as I explained earlier. But जो budget show होता है जब हम इसको पार्लियामेंट के आगे present करते हैं, इसमें जो हमारे फर्दर ईयर की प्रोग्राम्स एंड पॉलिसीज़ के साथ साथ जो हमारा पास्ट 1 ईयर है उसकी फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस के बारे में भी पता चलता है. अलॉन्ग विद दैट द फाइनेंशियल प्रोग्राम्स एंड पॉलिसीज़ ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट फॉर द नेक्स्ट 1 ईयर. लाइक आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जाम्पल. अब जब 2019 का बजट प्रिपेयर हुआ था, दैट वाज ऑन 1st of February 2019. अब वो कौन सी ईयर के लिए प्रिपेयर हुआ, मतलब कितने टाइम पीरियड के लिए प्रिपेयर हुआ होगा? दैट मस्ट बी फ्रॉम April 1st 2019 to 31st March 2020. For this time period, the budget has been prepared on, that is, must be presented on 1st of February 2019 to the houses of the Parliament. अब इस टाइम पीरियड के लिए जो गवर्नमेंट बजट प्रिपेयर करा गया, इसके साथ साथ जो हमारी प्रीवियस ईयर की फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस थी, दैट इज़ हमारे जो प्रीवियस ईयर के रिसिप्ट्स एंड एक्सपेंडिचर्स थे वो भी साथ में शो करे गए होंगे फॉर द ईयर दैट इज़ फ्रॉम 1st April 2018 to 31st March 2019. इस पीरियड की भी परफॉर्मेंस जो हमारी फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस होगी हमारी गवर्नमेंट की, वो भी साथ में शो करेंगे, सो दैट वी कैन मेक आउट द ट्रेंड्स कि किस तरह से कितने हमारे एक्सपेंडिचर हुए इन द प्रीवियस ईयर एंड व्हाट वी आर प्लानिंग फॉर द नेक्स्ट ईयर. दिस यू मस्ट कीप इन योर माइंड. जो हमारा बजट बनता है वो इन एडवांस बनता है, जिसमें हमारे एस्टिमेट्स होते हैं कि आने वाले साल में, दैट इज़ इन द कमिंग नेक्स्ट 1 ईयर, व्हाट आवर गवर्नमेंट इज़ प्लानिंग एज एक्सपेंडिचर और देयर रिसिप्ट्स. One more thing is that the government budget is also called the budgetary policy or fiscal policy. जब भी in case exams में आता है say about, or you can say what do you mean by budgetary policy of the government. So in that question you have to write down about the government budget or the definition of the government budget. And similarly government budget is also known as fiscal policy. So I hope you are clear with the concept that how the budget is prepared, what members are involved and how it is shown to the parliament. ये बात आपको याद रखनी है that जो बजट बनता है that includes the estimates of the government's expected receipts and expenditure during the financial year. जिस financial year की हम बात कर रहे हैं वो next 1 year की बात कर रहे हैं, क्लियर. एंड अलॉन्ग विद दैट जो हमारा पास्ट 1 ईयर की फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस होगी उसको भी हम साथ में ही प्रेजेंट करेंगे, सो दैट वी कैन मेक एन एनालिसिस और यू कैन से वी कैन मेक आउट द ट्रेंड्स दैट व्हाट काइंड ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस इज बीइंग डन बाय द गवर्नमेंट, ईदर इट इज सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट or state government. But in this chapter we will mainly talk about the budget of the central government, which the government is required to prepare under the article 112 of the constitution. Now this government budget, budgetary policy or fiscal policy, It has two aspects, that is revenue and expenditure. That is, these are the two concepts we are going to study in this chapter, that is government budget and the economy. We will study each concept in detail, under which we will come to know about the budget receipts as well as the budget expenditure. So what the government budget is related to, it mainly includes the financial performance of the government, or you can say the financial performance of an economy. Along with that, how much revenue is being generated by the government, how much expenditure, or you can say where the government will spend its revenue, will be known as the expenditure of the government. From that we will come to know about, is our government budget balanced or not. All this concept you will come to know about in the further topics. Along with that, we will come to know about that how the government budget is managed by the government, including the budgetary revenue as well as budgetary expenditure of the government, through which the government tries to achieve an objective of growth with stability. We will study the objectives of this government budget also in the further videos. Now you must be clear with these two terms, that is the public goods and the private goods. Before starting with the deep study of this chapter, you must be clear with these two concepts. The first one is the public goods. You must know that what do we mean by the public goods. Now these are the goods which cannot be provided through the market mechanism and must be provided by the government. Now here market mechanism means the transaction between the individual consumer and the individual producer. Now this kind of mechanism does not take place with the public goods, and these type of goods are provided by the government through allocation function, or you can say this provision of the public goods by the government to general public is one of the functions of the government known as allocation function. Now these are the main two, you can say, the features of public goods, that is it is non-rivalrous in nature, and second one is it is non-exclusive. Now I will explain you these two features with the help of a certain example. Now there are various examples of public goods like roads, public parks, street lighting, etc. Now let's take an example of public parks. Now how this public park is non-rivalrous? Basically non-rivalrous means that the use of any good or commodity by one individual does not reduce its availability for another. Now if one person is using this public park, will it reduce the availability of that park for another person? No, it is not that. Therefore these public parks are non-rivalrous in nature. Similarly if we talk about the street lighting, अगर एक इंडिविजुअल जो है स्ट्रीट लाइटिंग की जो बेनिफिट ले रहा है, क्या वो दूसरे इंडिविजुअल के लिए उसका बेनिफिट रिड्यूस करेगा? नो, इट इज़ नॉट दैट. देयरफॉर द पब्लिक गुड्स आर नॉन rivalrous in nature. The second feature is non-exclusive. Now what do we mean by non-exclusive is that the use of a public good by those individuals who pay for it does not exclude others from using it who do not pay for it. It is a quite complicated definition. I would like to explain you in a simple manner that non-exclusive means, if suppose I am using a public park, or the example of street lighting will be more convenient. Now suppose that a street light is a paid utility service, which means suppose in my street जो street light वहाँ पे installed है उसके लिए suppose हमें पे करना पड़ रहा है, बट वो इंडिविजुअल जो वहाँ से पास हो रहे हैं, जो उसका स्ट्रीट लाइट का बेनिफिट उन इंडिविजुअल्स को मिल रहा है, दे आर नॉट पेइंग फॉर इट. दैट डजंट मीन्स दैट कि वो इंडिविजुअल्स इसका बेनिफिट नहीं ले सकते. सो देयरफॉर द पब्लिक गुड्स आर ऑल्सो नॉन एक्सक्लूसिव इन नेचर, विच मीन्स जो लोग किसी फैसिलिटी के लिए पे नहीं कर रहे हैं उनको हम इस फैसिलिटी का फ़ायदा लेने से एक्सक्लूड नहीं कर सकते. Therefore, the public goods are also non-exclusive in nature. Now let's take the example of roads. अब roads पे जब हम travel करते हैं long route पे, we have to pay the toll tax, but the two-wheelers are not giving the tax over there. So what is that? They are not being excluded from taking the facility of the roads. Therefore, we say that public goods are non-exclusive in nature. Now if we talk about the private goods, now private goods include the items like food items, clothes, shoes, etc. or you can define it as the goods which can be provided through market mechanism. Now market mechanism over here means that the transaction between the individual consumer and the individual producer. These kind of transactions, or you can say through the market mechanism, these goods are being provided. That is, it is not provided by the government, but it is provided through the market mechanism. And these kind of goods can be either rivalrous or exclusive in consumption. Now for example, the clothes which I have bought from the market, it cannot be used by the one who hasn't paid for it. I have paid for the clothes I have bought, then only I can take the benefit of the clothes I have bought. So that is how it is. It may be exclusive in nature. On the other hand, if we talk about rivalrous, these can be rivalrous in nature, that if the commodities in the market is in excess demand, then its supply may get reduced, because of which it may become rivalrous in nature. Therefore, the private goods can be either rivalrous or exclusive in consumption. One more concept is there, that is free rider problem. You must also know about that. It is related to the public goods. Now you must know what is a free rider. A free rider is a person who enjoys the benefits of goods and services without contributing to the full or the partial cost of providing them. That is, if we talk about some public goods where like some of the consumers might not contribute towards the creation of these public goods, which will increase the cost of these public goods. Okay, let's make this concept more simple. Like if I say कि जो हमारी स्ट्रीट में स्ट्रीट लाइट लगी हुई है, उसकी जो कॉस्ट है वो सिर्फ कुछ हाउस होल्ड्स पे कर रहे हैं, बट इट्स बेनिफिट इज़ बीइंग टेकन बाय ऑल द हाउस होल्ड्स ओवर देयर, और यू कैन से द इंडिविजुअल्स बीइंग पासिंग फ्रॉम देयर. सो वो जो इंडिविजुअल्स जो उसके लिए पे नहीं कर रहे हैं, दैट इज़ जो स्ट्रीट लाइट के लिए पे नहीं कर रहे हैं, वो भी उसका बेनिफिट ले रहे हैं, but they will be known as a free rider because they are the people who are enjoying the benefit of that good and service but are not contributing towards its cost. So therefore those people are known as free rider. This is not of much importance. It is only for the sake of your knowledge, this public goods, private goods and the free rider. So just go through it thoroughly, and with this our basic concept of the government budget is over. In the next video, we will start with the objectives of the government budget. I hope this basic concept is very much clear to all of you. Thank you so much.